Nigga told Shotty P, the 40 will make that weight cut out. It's lipo. But wait, I got this rifle.
What's going on, y'all? It's your man Ryan Michael back at y'all with another recap. Today we're gonna be talking about the recently released Math Hoffa versus Ill Will battle. This battle happened back in May, earlier this year, from RBE's Pearly Gates 2 card. And I'll preface everything that I'm about to say with, I know that Math Hoffa won, like, the judgment in the building. However, this battle is extremely dope, and I think it would be a disservice for people to not recap it or not review it just for the simple fact that Math Hoffa already won the judgment. You know what I'm saying? First round was pretty close, in my opinion. Math Hoffa goes first. He starts out pretty simple with 4-bar setups, leading to some decent punches that were getting big crowd reactions. I try not to use the term gas because I like for people to get their credit, but I feel like the crowd, I don't know, maybe they were a little extra happy to see Math, knowing that he had 3 battles 3 weeks in a row or something. I'm not sure, but I feel like they were giving him a little extra love in the building, and I could be wrong. But that's just my opinion from the outside looking in. He briefly mentioned some of the history of their battle with the "I should have killed you on Smack," and used that as a setup for the Black Ice Will sliding punchline. Only thing is, it didn't hit at all because he stumbled, and this was early in his round. He stumbled, and he stumbled again on the setup for the following bar too. And again, people are aware that Math has 3 battles in a row, coming into this battle. So it looked a little shaky, like, is he prepared or whatever? You know what I'm saying? But he definitely picked it up, and I don't know that there were any more stumbles from Math in this battle. I came up with commandos, creep and keep the can low. We was taking people's jewels before Thanos. I think that was when his round really started to pick up. Probably one of my favorite portions of the battle. I read through it and deck something like the back of a book. Fire. Nice Nina named Bonnie. Do the math. She about to eat the butt. Fire. I guarantee my Calico won't have to back out twice. Again, just pretty consistent with delivering dope material for the rest of his first round. However, with that being said, I did feel like Math left the door open for Ill Will to win the round. Ill Will's turn to go. And he had a dope opener that seemed to be like a planned freestyle that ended with the "I'ma knock gems out because it seemed like the thing to do" thing. It wasn't a crazy bar, but again, like I mentioned in my previous recap, sometimes like a rebuttal or just some small humor here and there, it's a great way to shift the pace from your opponent's round to your round. You don't want to just start out at a high energy and then have to work uphill from there because there's nowhere to go but down. Whereas if you start on a funny note or a silly note, something that's not as serious, it shifts from your opponent who probably ended their round on a high energy note, and then you get to work uphill from there, right? So I thought it was effective. He followed that up with the "I just had a daughter, but I don't claim her though." I thought that was funny as well. I love the part of Ill Will's round where he addresses some of the history of their battle. I want to know why you were mad at me talking during my rounds of Summer Madness 3. Then you went and punched Sirius Jones. Wait, was that for me? I thought that was fire. Following that, he also had a stumble on the show up in court, Cortez flip. The bar was dope, but when you stumble, it really takes away from the punch of it. In comparison to Math stumbles, I guess you could say It happened later on in the round, number one. And number two, he only had one in comparison to Math's 2 stumbles. Scope on the machine, it's a peeping Tom, stupid. Ill Will's round ended on an average note. And at the end of his round, I think he pretty much anticipated that whatever judgment happened wasn't going to be in his favor, because he ended his first round saying, these judges don't rock with me, basically. Maybe he kind of spoke his own fate into existence there by, giving the judges something to, like, I don't know, some type of ammunition to not vote for you in the first place. From what I remember, I think they said that the first round was tied. In the judgment from the different judges, I think they had it tied up. I also think this round is pretty close. I edge it slightly to Ill Will. I think Ill Will just had better structure, better performance, better presence, bigger moments. I think Math Hoffa had the cadence, the flow, and the wordplay to go with everything. But another big thing from this round again was the stumbles. If you looked at it from a perspective of back in the day, where if you stumbled, your round was done and it went to the next person. Math Hoffa stumbled extremely early in his round, and he stumbled multiple times. Whereas Ill Will got a lot more material out prior to his stumble, and he only stumbled the one time. So in that category, I feel like it weighed less on Ill Will's round than it did for Math Hoffa. So 1-0 Ill Will going into the second. The second round for Math Hoffa is the round that everybody was talking about when this battle was over with, because Math Hoffa completely spazzed. First of all, his round was 7 minutes long. I love it when vets rap for a really long time. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because you have a lot of guys who, they've been rapping so long that now when they rap, like they don't want to give excess material. But Math Hoffa is like, no, I'm gonna rap a 7-minute round for y'all, which I think is fire. And again, same thing that Ill Will did, opening up his round with some humor or comedy. Math Hoffa did the same thing with talking about how Ill Will dress. You're a grimy dude, that might be true. And the only evidence is you dressing like it's 92. Again, it sets the pace for Math to go uphill in his round. Math had a dope angle here where he took Ill Will's words from the Lotta Zay battle and referenced it with Team Homie, both of them being Team Homie. And that led into Don't Get Smacked for promoting that smoke to say the Yak Man. From there, he went on to build up momentum pretty crazy. After that, Don't Break Your Back for someone that won't push your wheelchair. You know me, if a dude ain't loyal, I let a hollow go. Shotgun, I let the gauge bang. We don't know if he Team Homie or Cave Gang. That entire portion of his second round was crazy. He literally couldn't rap. Like, the crowd was stopping him like every line. And I wouldn't say that any of that was gas. Like, you know what I'm saying? They were just feeding off the energy that he was presenting. Have Will talking to death, that's the Collateral Beauty. Fire. He also had another angle in this round that was pretty effective, saying Ill Will stole conceited style. You can debate whether that's true or not, but the bars that came with the angle, the slow it down, speed it up, you had the contemplate, that was crazy. Continue by saying that Will stole his Jamaican voice. That played over with the crowd well too. As dope as Math's round was, Will had a dope round also. He opened up his round with humor again, saying this is the best Math I've ever seen. He had the whole I'm not gonna do nothing to get you upset, not even a little dose, I'm serious, all of that, which I love that part of his round because it didn't rhyme at all, but it's just something that's creative and only certain people can get away with it. Like, Ill Will is one of the few people that's charismatic enough in battle rap to get away with stuff like that. And I think that it's fire that he knows it and uses that to his advantage. Also, if you see in the footage, that part of Ill Will's round made Daylight pick up a chair in the crowd. I don't know where he got the chair from or like why there was a random chair in the crowd. But yeah, Ill Will keep doing stuff like that. The Star Wars scheme from Ill Will, people want to start wars and use Jedi mind tricks to see Star Wars. Fire. Then the next line, I really tried hard to understand. Full disclosure, I'm not a Star Wars guy. I've never seen a Star Wars movie in my life. But I understand a lot of references that people make to Star Wars. But the one jab or walkie, I don't even understand what Ill Will was trying to say. Like, one jab will walk key. I don't get what he was trying to say. I really would like for somebody to explain it because I hate it when I don't understand bars, especially if it's something that makes sense and I'm just like ignorant to whatever it means. So if someone could explain in the comment section, I appreciate you. However, the hand solo part of the bar, I completely understood and I thought that was dope. So it's like half credit. After that, he had the Addams Family wordplay, which I thought was fire. After that, he had some math name flips, which is a well that he went into in the first round and he went back to it in the second round. I've spoken previously about like when battlers choose to do that, it almost feels like they ran out of things to say to their opponent. Most of the stuff he was saying within like the math flips was like some overused stuff. But the tuck math on the arm, cheating on the calculus test was cool. And my man to do math all wrong and still graduate, I thought that was fire. With crowd reaction, Math rapped 3 more minutes than Ill Will. And he had a lot of dope material on top of that. So not only are you giving me quality, but you're giving me more lines to choose from. Almost twice as much material to choose from. So I feel like if there's any round in this battle that is not debatable, it's the second round. And Math Hoffa got it clear. And now on to round 3, which again is a close round. Math Hoffa has another 7-minute round. Again, I appreciate you. Math opened up with some humor with the Fresh Prince theme song that led into an angle about Ill Will's career. He went through how Ill Will ended up off Smack and on King of the Dot and on RBE and all that stuff. But there wasn't a lot of dope material there. He had one bar with the ARP got you nice bags, but that's bad. He Captain Save-A-Ho. I thought that was fire. But then he had stuff like your tag say you made in Horia that I thought was underwhelming. You know what I'm saying? I think from the material that Math presented in the first 2 rounds, I think he could have done more. It's almost like he let off the gas at a certain point. By the end of the whole Math's career timeline, he was like 2.5 minutes into his round and he had barely given you any bars. And the minute he starts giving you bars is the minute that his round picked up. DNA killed him, but you think he nicer than me. I got something to fix ill and vitamin C. Dope. Call 911, get stuck trying to call it like rum and iron. Fire. Squeeze the nose on Will like yo home, smell you later. So after that portion of the round where his round picked up a bit and he was more bar heavy, he went back to the angles with the I stole Bonnie from you angle, which is basically what caused this battle to even be set up in the first place when it was originally supposed to happen. The angle was cool, but it ended with a fire bar with the sleep on your stomach. So I thought that was fire. And my favorite line from Math Hoffa's third round, chick's been switching up on Will since Aunt Vivian, is crazy. Bust in the air and he diving, we playing Fortnite, is also dope. Overall, solid round from Math. Great 3 rounds from Math. Great performance all around. Ill Will goes. I believe this round was Ill Will's longest round. He opened up with a Math scheme. Again, you dipping into the same bag all 3 rounds. It's like, you might as well have just put all of this stuff together if that's what you was going to do. But however, I will give him credit because I guess the approach for some of these bars was different than most of the Math name flips that I've heard in the past. You Lost the Vision, I Multiplied, and the rapper Q Angle. I thought both of those were dope. Everything else I would say was overused or whatever the case is. Now, this is where Ill Will's versatility comes into play, because his imitation of Math versus Shotty P, literally every time I watch it, it makes me laugh. Like, thinking about it makes me laugh. That's why I put it as the intro for this video, because it's, again, when battlers understand their limits, they understand their skill set and what things work for them and what things don't, I think it's fire. And he went from being humorous and comedic to having an extremely dope punchline like that. Like, he went from imitating Math to, you know, that ain't where it stops, I pop locks and all of that and call it turbo. It's crazy. And that's one of the more memorable moments of this battle for me personally. 40 opened his mind up like, I see what you're saying. The Janet Justin lines were dope too. Again, I feel like that's another instance in this round of Ill Will taking an approach or something that's like commonly used against someone, you know, where everybody at this point knows that Math's name is Justin. But he flipped it in a way that I don't remember people using, like a Justin Timberlake from the Super Bowl reference, to flip his name like that. So I thought that was dope. If you're nitpicking and trying to decide who won the battle, Ill Will had a really, really slight stumble when he said, he was talking about someone else being crazier than you, and he said, I'm not saying that it's me. Like, it almost sounded like he was about to say, I'm not saying that it's you. But the line right after that, I ain't have to punch nobody on cam to solidify my spot neither. I thought that was super dope. It's not lyrical, it's not complex, but it hits hard. It does what it's supposed to do. After that, he got to his portion of the round that's in the trailer with the No Stressing with his mama, his Bombay night. Turn boys to men, I'm the Wanye type, and live Harambe life. Right and left cook like a pregnant chick, nasty combination, but you gonna eat it. That was when the momentum was the highest in his round, which was a very, very consistent round minus the slight stumble all the way up until the end. And he does the Jamaican call with, I believe his name is Blick the Barbarian. It just didn't go over that well. I don't know if it's because Blick didn't have a mic on and people couldn't really hear him. It sounds like he wasn't really projecting in the footage. So I don't know if people are booing because of that, or if they just felt like the lines were whack, or if people are just tired of other people jumping into people's rounds at this point. I think that's very possible also. Either way, it didn't go over that well with the crowd. So the ending to the round was kind of but for the most part, Ill Will's third round was pretty fire. Now again, I said this round was pretty close. And if I'm being 100% honest, I feel like it's preference. You can nitpick and take away points for this or add points for this. You know, however you judge a battle, I feel like the third round, in addition to the first round, but mainly the third round, is so close that it really boils down to what you like. That being said, if I had to edge this round to somebody, I edge it to Ill Will. I think Ill Will had the performance, the presence, the structure, the big moments. And I think overall his round in terms of his material was more consistent than Math's. However, he did have the stumble, and the ending of it definitely wasn't as good as it could have been. If you argue that Math won the battle, I won't argue with you. If you argue that Ill Will won, I won't argue with you, because either way, this battle is a classic. It's one of the best battles of the year. And shout out to both artists for performing at such a high level. As far as what's next for the both of them, Math Hoffa has Av on Summer Madness 7. I'm not really sure who I have winning that battle as of right now. I'm leaning towards Math. I'll put my Twitter in the description. Follow me on Twitter. I do predictions for all of the events that I tune into. So yeah, my final prediction for that battle will be up on Twitter at some point before the battle. Ill Will also is on Summer Madness 7 against O-Red. I think that matchup is crazy. That's a crazy style clash. Two very different opponents. You know, one of them is very bar heavy, very lyrical. And I think Ill Will, on the other hand, is a more versatile, more well-rounded battler. I'm not really sure who's going to win that one. I'll probably lean towards O-Red just based off the fact that he's coming off what people perceive to be a loss versus DNA. And I think, you know, him being the reigning champion of the year, I think he's going to try to show improve and do his best to be considered, you know, again for that award at the end of this year. So I think he'll probably have that extra bit of fuel against Ill Will. Also, it seems like the venue is going to be a bit smaller for Summer Madness, which I think leans towards O-Red. You know, him being a more bar-heavy guy, I think the smaller the crowd, the more they'll understand his bars, the more they'll translate to crowd reactions and things of that nature. So I think I got O-Red beating Ill Will, probably 2-1. Also, Ill Will is battling Big T on the Rare Breeds card the week after Summer Madness. I'm not sure that Big T can do a lot of things better than Ill Will can do. I think Ill Will, like I said before, he's very well-rounded and versatile. And I think Big T kind of fits that bag to a degree. I think his performances are sometimes inconsistent, so it doesn't always show how good he actually is. I think he can be a lot more lyrical at times than Ill Will is. So I'll give him the edge in that particular category. But I think Ill Will's presence, Ill Will's big moments, I think he'll be riding a momentum. You know, win, lose, or draw with the O-Red battle, I think he'll put on a good performance for sure. And I think that he'll be riding off that momentum coming off the Math battle just coming out and him having a dope performance versus O-Red. I think no matter how you put it, his momentum is going to be super high for that Big T battle. And I think Big T is going to have an uphill battle for himself. So I would predict Ill Will to beat Big T 2-1. I appreciate you watching this video. For making it to the end, I hope you dropped a like, hit the subscribe button. I got a lot of dope material coming out in the near future. I appreciate RBE for shouting me out on Twitter for the video that I made previously. If you haven't seen that one, the top 5 ways that RBE helped to change battle rap, go click on that one after you finish with this one. And like I said, subscribe for more to come in the future. My name is Ryan Michael, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.